Greetings, everyone. My name is TThreat, and I'll be acting as the Director of Human Resources for Saga Food Services. This grievance case will entail employee Mr. John Arnett and the work requirement for holiday pay. Now, let's review the breakdown of this grievance case. This presentation will provide details in the order of the following. Explanation of the grievance process, including rejection, and Mr. Arnett's decision to appeal the HR decision. Next, I will provide an overview of Mr. Arnett's case, explain the role of a union, the associated policies, my action plan, and lastly, provide a synopsis of the decision made by the company. Let's now go to the next slide that gives details about the grievance process from the director's perspective. As the Director of Human Resources, I'm responsible for providing and implementing a shared consciousness of how operations are supposed to be ran with the knowledge and execution of written policies and procedures. I am obligated to executing fair and justice decisions involving the human resources team and employees of an organization. It is with utmost importance for me to strategically analyze policies that are truly related to the events that occurred in Mr. Arnett's case, with the knowledge of several policies and procedures that all employees should abide by. In Mr. Arnett's case, he has spoken with the HR representative and has taken action to involve the union on behalf of his file of agreements. With the incorporation of a union, it allows communication to be consistent and provides professional continuity. In this matter, it is significant that a collective bargain agreement is set forth to guide us through the process on behalf of Saga Food Services and Mr. Arnett. Please let's go to the next slide to provide an overview of Mr. John Arnett's case. Mr. Arnett is a full-time employee who works 4 10-hour shifts Tuesday through Friday. As a full-time employee, he is granted holiday pay for specified holidays. Unfortunately, Labor Day fell on a Monday, which is a non-working day for Mr. Arnett. In this matter, the company has designated Mr. Arnett holiday pay for Tuesday, which is one of his working days. On the night of Labor Day, Mr. Arnett informed the clerk on duty at the job of taking a personal day the very next day. In this matter, the company has refused to compensate Mr. Arnett holiday pay for the nature of taking a personal day the next day. Let's now move on to the next slide to give details of a union purpose in Mr. Arnett's case. Unions are heavy advocates of holiday pay and efforts of giving employees the benefit of financial needs during the time companies are not open for employees to work. By having a collective bargain agreement in place, it gives Mr. Arnett the security of knowing that there is a specific process for conducting grievances and efforts to solving the complaint that is at hand. It's a great effort to come to a mutual agreement and understanding between the HR management team and the union. As the director of HR, I respect the stance and the position of the union in the employee's defense. Next, let's go to the slide where we're going to go over the policies relative to Mr. Arnett's case. The entitlement to holiday pay is usually stimulated by a pattern of work that surrounds the holiday. In Article 7, Section 7.03, holiday pay is granted to one who works a full shift prior to the holiday and a full shift after the holiday. The policy is set forth on the basis of deterring employees from expanding their holiday into what is commonly known as a mini vacation. Mr. Arnett is actually waived from working the day prior to his designated paid holiday, which is a Monday, and also his day off. Going forward, Mr. Arnett is at least to work the very next day of his designated paid holiday, which is Wednesday. Two things could have allowed compensation for holiday pay for Mr. Arnett, which are one, if his call off detailed that he was sick or injured, or two, if Mr. Arnett requested to have Wednesday off prior to the Labor Day holiday. In that case, supervisor would have had the power to override the written constraints that are associated with using personal days. Let's now go to the next slide to give the next details regarding policies. Next, as stated in Article 23, Section 23.06, Mr. Arnett is allowed up to 4 personal leave days per year. In Mr. Arnett's defense, he did call off Wednesday in the appropriate manner, which was well over an hour and a half before the start of his shift of Wednesday. On the other hand, the leave of absence was not approved by management, even though he submitted his request in a timely manner. Personal leave is ideal and understandable to be taken by employees. It has been proven that such leave is an important component to health related benefits for employees and for their families. Let's next go to the slide to discuss my action plan within Mr. Arnett's case. First and foremost, it should be understood that as an HR director, I am observing and analyzing the situation with foreknowledge of more than one policy. It is understandable that Mr. Arnett may be viewing his situation from the viewpoint of granted time an employee is given, but it's important as the HR director to consider every possible clause and policy that is set forth. It is important that the HR manager understands the importance of being receptive of Mr. Arnett in his decision to have a union representative to defend his complaint. I would then build a strong case to defend the decision of Saga Food Services' decision. Lastly, I would negotiate and converse with the union representative to present Saga's case. Next, let's go to the slide where we're going to discuss the final determination of Saga Foods Group's decision. Holiday pay benefits are required to clearly have an express clear statement of eligibility requirements in reference of denying compensation to an employee. In Mr. Arnett's case, Saga Food Services clearly specifies the restrictions regarding work patterns around holidays. In Mr. Arnett's case, by not working the full day after his designated paid holiday, he was not eligible for paid compensation. It is important for one to not interject the given personal leave with the seniority of guidelines of being paid for holidays. As the HR director, it is vital that I separate the two occurrences of granting holiday pay and approving personal leave. In conclusion, I stand by the decision that has been made on the basis of Mr. Arnett not fulfilling the requirements of holiday pay compensation. Thank you all for your time, and please refer to the next slide, a listing of references that support my case. Thank you.